the sweater or jumper, wherever you are, however you say it says. It's been a while. Today's video, let's get right into it, is a whispered random facts, totally useless random facts that are supposedly, according to the article, too entertaining for words. So we'll see how that holds up. So, jumping right into it. No number from number 1 to 999 includes the letter A in its word form. It says unless you live in the UK, where it's proper to write 101 as 101, there is no number from 1 to 999 that includes the letter A in its word form, according to longtime math teacher Jonathan Garnett Smith. You won't find the first letter of the alphabet until you hit 1000. Many oranges are actually green. While we assume that all oranges are orange in color because of their name, the fruit is often green when ripe, thanks to plenty of chlorophyll. In South America and other tropical locales, oranges are green year-round, but in the U.S., where it's colder, oranges lose their chlorophyll and take on the color that matches their name. And because North American shoppers are used to oranges that are actually orange, imported fruit is either exposed to ethylene gas, I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly, or shocked with cold water in order to remove the chlorophyll. The opposite sides of a die will always add up to 7. If you take a look, you'll see that 1 and 6 are on opposite sides of the cube, as are 2 and 5, and 3 and 4. And if you want to understand more of this amazing but useless fact, The Guardian offers deeper explanation. There's an article on The Guardian that you can read if you are into that high level of math, which I'm not. You are 13.8% more likely to die on your birthday. This is according to Swiss mortality statistics from 1969 to 2008. Morbidly interesting. Playing dance music can help ward off mosquitoes. Playing EDM music could be just what you need to scare away those pesky mosquitoes in the summer, according to one 2019 study published in the journal Acta Topica. The Skilrex song Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites combines very high and low frequencies, as well as excessive loudness and constantly escalating pitch that discourages the yellow fever mosquito from biting victims and mating. The King of Hearts is the only king in a deck of cards without a mustache. There are 4 kings in every deck of cards, and while they all look similar, the King of Hearts is the only royal fellow who doesn't have a mustache. According to The Guardian, the so-called Suicide King, who earned his name because it looks like he's stabbing himself in the head with a sword, wasn't always barefaced. He mistakenly lost his facial hair in a redesign. I'm looking at a picture of it, and yeah, it does look like he's stabbing himself in the head. Wow, I guess I'm not very observant. I didn't notice that till now. Dreamt, D-R-E-M-T, is the only word in the English in Scientific American. Unlike other mammals, felines can't taste sweetness due to the fact that they lack 247 base pairs of the amino acids that make up the DNA of the TASR2 gene. As a result, it does not code for the proper protein, and it does not permit cats to taste sweets. It is possible to turn peanut butter into diamonds. While most of us are happy to slap some peanut butter between two slices of bread, scientist Dan Frost of Germany did something a little different with his peanut butter. He made a diamond. Frost studies the conditions of the Earth's mantle and has found ways to mimic them in his lab. According to the BBC, the high pressures of the mantle can strip oxygen from carbon dioxide and leave behind the carbon to form a diamond. And since peanut butter is already rich in carbon, Frost was able to transform the nutty goodness into a shiny jewel. I have no idea what I just read. I was in arts and letters. apple seeds contain cyanide. As they say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, unless you eat too many apple seeds, that is. The tiny black seeds found in the fruit contain a plant compound called amygdalin that turns into hydrogen cyanide if the seeds are chewed or digested, according to Medical News Today. Seeing that cyanide is poisonous, even deadly in high doses, you should definitely spit those seeds out. Do the same for apricot, peach, and cherry seeds, which contain the compound as well. Mulan has the highest kill count of any Disney character. Mulan is fierce, brave, and incredibly inspirational, but she's also incredibly deadly. In fact, she was not the only first Disney princess to kill someone on screen in the 1998 film Mulan, but she also has the highest kill count of any Disney character. Mulan took out nearly 2,000 people over the course of the animated film, including the evil Hun leader, and 1,994 Huns by triggering an avalanche. A cubic inch of human bone can bear the weight of 5 standard pickup trucks. Jupiter is twice as massive as all the other planets combined. If Earth were the size of a grape, Jupiter would be the size of a basketball, according to NASA. Your body contains about 100,000 miles of blood vessels. The little dot above a lowercase I and J has a name. It's called the diacritic dot. The chicken and the ostrich are the closest living relatives of the Tyrannosaurus rex. While we used to think that dinosaurs were giant lizard-like creatures who roamed the earth, it's now widely accepted that dinosaurs have more in common with present-day birds than they do oversized reptiles. Research out of Harvard in 2008 confirmed that the T-Rex shared more of its genetic makeup with ostriches and chickens than with alligators and crocodiles. The average American spends about 2.5 days a year looking for lost items. If you plug your nose, you can't tell the difference between an apple, a potato, and an onion. I have to try that. Punctuation wasn't always a part of our written language. It would be nearly impossible to properly read without periods, commas, exclamation points, and question marks. But it turns out that punctuation wasn't always a part of our written language. According to the BBC, a librarian named Aristophanes, I'm not sure if I said that right, from the Egyptian city of Alexandria in the 3rd century BC, attempted to introduce a form of punctuation into a system that not only didn't use it, but also didn't bother to use capital letters or include spaces between words. While this version of punctuation didn't stick around, Christian writers in the early should know that in Arizona it's actually illegal, according to the Maricopa County Bar Association. And while this might seem like a useless law, it was once totally necessary. That's because camels did, in fact, populate the Arizona desert back in the 1800s, when they were brought to the States by the U.S. Army. There are giant Technicolor squirrels in India. The squirrels in your neighborhood are most likely black, brown, or gray, but in southern India, there are giant Technicolor squirrels weighing around 4 pounds and measuring up to 3 feet from head to tail. The Malabar giant squirrel looks like a rainbow-inspired Muppet than something you'd find in a forest stateside. Interesting. The inventor of Pringles is buried in a Pringles can. In 1966, Frederick Barr developed the ingenious idea for Procter & Gamble to uniformly stack chips inside of a can instead of tossing them in a bag. Bauer was so proud of his invention that he wanted to take it to the grave, literally. He communicated his burial wishes to his family, and when he died at 89, his children stopped at Walgreens on their way to the funeral home to buy the Pringles can for his ashes. They did have one decision to make, though. My siblings and I briefly debated what flavor to use. Bauer's eldest son Larry told Time. But I said, look, we need to use the original. And that's exactly what they went with. I like that. Riding roller coasters can help you pass kidney stones. Okay. After multiple people claimed they had passed kidney stones while riding Walt Disney World's Big Thunder Mountain Railroad ride, a research team from Michigan State decided to take a look at the situation in 2016 when they conducted tests using a model kidney. They found that there was a 64% successful pass rate for those seated in the rear of the roller coaster. But that number was just 16% for those seated in the front. Unfortunately, this only worked on Big Thunder Mountain. We tried Space Mountain and Aerosmith's Rock and Roll roller coaster, and both failed. The study's lead author, David Wardinger, a professor emeritus at Michigan State's Department of Osteopathic Surgical Specialties, said in a statement, the ideal roller coaster is rough and quick with some twists and turns, but no upside down or inverted movements. It reminds me, as a kid, of going to Cedar Point in Ohio and riding the Mean Streak, which was a wooden roller coaster. Talk about rough. Oh my God. The largest scrambled eggs ever made weighed nearly 3.5 tons. Okay. After mixing 59,758 eggs, along with a whole lot of butter, milk, onion, and garlic, the dish wound up weighing close to 7,000 pounds. Okay, that was kind of stupid. Why'd they even do that? I don't know. To each their own, okay. Dr. Seuss invented the word nerd. Dr. Seuss is responsible for coming up with some wild and wacky words, but we can also thank the children's book author for a very common term, nerd. American Heritage Dictionary explains that nerd first appeared in Seuss's 1950 book, If I Ran the Zoo. The passage reads, and then, just to show them, I'll sail to Katroo and bring it in Itkuch, a breep and a brew, a nurgle, a nerd, a seersucker too. According to Merriam-Webster, a year later, Newsweek included the word nerd in an article first alphabetical form. There's a city called Rome on every continent except Antarctica. I think there's a Rome, Indiana, too, around here. Octopuses and squid have 3 hearts. The first email was sent by Ray Tomlinson to himself in 1971. Ray Tomlinson is often credited with inventing email, although that claim has been disputed. He sent the first email to himself while trying out the revolutionary form of online communication in 1971. The test messages were entirely forgettable, and I have therefore forgotten them, he wrote on his website. The lint in the bottom of your pocket has a name. At some point in time, for whatever reason, someone decided to give a name to the lint that collects in the bottom of your pockets, and that name is hilariously Gnurr. Gnurr. Okay. Ketchup was used medicinally in the early 1800s. Ohio physician John Cook Bennett was one of the first people to add tomatoes to ketchup in 1834. And because it was rich in vitamins and antioxidants, the doctor claimed that the product, which he sold in pill form, could help cure diarrhea and indigestion. Captain Crunch's full name is Captain Horatio Magellan Crunch. Movie trailers got their name because they were originally shown after the movie. If you've ever wondered why movie previews are called trailers even though they're shown before a film, you'll be interested to discover that their name was once more accurate. When the trailers were first introduced in the early 1910s, the first one being for a Charlie Chaplin movie, they were shown after the movie, just trailing it. But when advertisers realized that audiences were leaving immediately after the film, the trailers were moved to the preview position, where they remain today along with their iconic name. People used to